Hello everybody, hope you're all doing well. My name is Steven and this is the Storytime channel. Ever confuse somebody for an employee? Well, we've got a number of stories here that fit exactly that description. So let's jump right into our first story of the day by Warden of Monsters. How do I respect my elders? Like a professional smart butt. So a bit of background to this utter fluke of circumstances. About a year ago, I moved back into my childhood home with my papa in the volunteer state. He's a really chill guy that is just lonely because all his kids are 40 plus years old, and the only people that he talked to regularly before I came back were in the same boat. My return was only shortly before the pandemic started, so he's been cool with me staying rent-free until I find a full-time job. So we've largely been living off food stamps to get by. That being said, we make a serious grocery run about once a month. The same night I try to make a monthly steak night so we can feel like we live off more than rice, canned soup, and coupons. I spent roughly 12 years living in a household of folks practically obsessed with cooking, so I'm fairly good at it. But it's not a one-stop shop, so we do end up taking a whole day to get everything. And we always end up stopping by Wally World for blue cheese crumbles I adore on my steak. Melt in saucepan with sauteed mushrooms and caramelized onions with half a cup of half and half milk. Wonderful topping sauce. Just go easy on the salty seasonings, a light sprinkling of garlic powder at most. And only sear steak in a cast iron pan before baking with toppings in oven at 475 for 2 to 5 minutes depending on how rare you like it. On this particular day though, I had just come back from our local Amazon location trying to get a job, so I was dressed in nice shoes, my best blue jeans, and a blue polo shirt. If you cannot guess where this is going by now, then you haven't read enough of these stories. Though to the credit of the managers at this location, at least the fine, brave people working there now wear uniform vests with the company logo on the back, most likely to avoid situations like this. I meet Papa there and we start shopping. As we stock up on instant ramen and yakisoba, he and I aren't talking much, shopping like a well-oiled machine. We both know what the house needs and our budget. After a while, I hear footsteps approaching from behind, and so I step a bit further from the center of the aisle so whoever it is can pass. Then I feel it like something out of a horror movie. 4 or 5 hard edges moving against the back of my neck without warning. So like most sane people, I assume something is trying to sting or bite me and slap the back of my neck as hard and fast as my reflexes allow. Feeling my hand connect with something large, my reaction is to grab and throw it, twisting my head around to try and see what's on me. What I see is this frail-looking woman in her 80s looking at me in shock, the fingers of her right and caught in my grip. Instantly, I let her fingers go and turn to face her, trying to lighten the mood with a wisecrack of, "Not your best idea ever, huh?" She narrows her eyes at me, and with her cheeks and lips sagging like an English bulldog, she grumps at me, "Excuse me?" "You're excused," I reply out of habit, gesturing she is free to get by us. And no, I wasn't oblivious to her temper, I was just ignoring it so we could all move on with our day. Apparently, she doesn't appreciate my efforts and smacks me on the arm. Not like it hurt or anything, I'm 27 as of last month, 6 foot high and the better part of 300 pounds. She looked like a strong breeze would snap her in half, so it had about as much effect as she swung a loaf of bread at me. Off to my right, I can hear Papa go, "Hey now." He goes ignored as the old lady says, "Is that any way to treat a lady, young man?" "I don't know," I reply as I rub the scratch marks on my neck. "If I see one, I'll be sure to ask." Her jaw falls open at that, and she actually kicks me just below the knee. That one I actually felt, and I scowl at her. "Geez, lady, save it for the ring, okay, Mrs. Tyson?" The first boxer that came to my mind at that time. "You are very rude. Where is your manager?" I blink a few times, and I actually smile as it clicks what's happening. I watch a lot of channels on YouTube to read out stories like these while I'm busy with other stuff. So in my mind, what started as a scare just turned into a chance for some fun. "Tahiti maybe? He has a timeshare there," I reply as I smirk. She huffs and rolls her eyes, still massaging her fingers.
Oh, whatever. Just give me your name and a number to report you.
My papa tries to cut in. Ma'am, she all but hollers,
Name and number.
Dramatically, I put a hand to my chest. Oh, but ma'am, that is so improper. I'll have you know my wife looks very poorly on me just giving out my number to other women. I'm single, but just want to watch her mentally trip over herself. She does an impression of a fish with her mouth before something catches her eye down the aisle.
You, come here.
I look and I see an actual employee headed our way. I smirk and then blatantly stage whisper to him as loud as I can, "Run away! Run away!" If looks could kill, that lady would have turned me into a fine red mist. The employee endured a few minutes of her chastising me to him while I looked as bored as I can be. He looks at me and tells her, "He doesn't work here." Spotting a chance, I loudly and sarcastically say over the lady's retort, "Oh, come on, Jimmy." His name tag said his name was Max. "Don't tell me you forgot me. It's me, Ben Take It, middle name Doverand." My papa bursts out in the wheezing coughs that pass for his laughter. He's the one that taught me that joke. So I ask Max, "You know where I can get my papa some tea?" The old lady seems to be catching on by this point, and so I am pointedly ignored while she focuses on Max. As papa and I quietly make our escape, he looks at me and says, "Kid, you're freaking weird." I glance back at the lady down the aisle and reply to him, "Better than crazy." He just shrugs with a nod and we carry on with our shopping. That's a very interesting name. Ben Take It, middle name Doverand. You know, for the sake of comedy, does anybody have any name jokes like this that they know of? Let me know in the comments down below. Our next story is by Tanzanite20. How is a floor-length sundress a grocery store uniform? Hubby dropped me at the local PC grocery store and went to run his errands. I'm wearing a gray sundress and a gray mask. I am short, so ankle length is floor length. My hair is purple and my shoulder tat is very visible. Store uniform is a black polo and jeans or trousers. This was just yesterday. I am prepared with a list, have my cell phone handy in case hubby texts. I enter store, grab a cart and a couple squirts of sanitizer to clean my hands and the cart handle. And I'm off. I try to be systematic, so I start with non-perishables, then produce, then meat and dairy, then frozen. This is, in theory, a logical method of loading the cart. Following the arrows and attempting to respect the 6-foot rule, I notice staff restocking a section I need to get to. I stop and make eye contact. She offers to move and I tell the staffer to keep going. I can wait for her. That was mistake 1. Shopper is behind me. She starts telling me to make the staffer move. I'd rather let her finish her job. I can wait. Shopper says, "Well, I can't. Can't you evaluate her later? Tell her to move so I can get in there." I'm not evaluating her. I am a shopper just like you. Yeah, you're a mystery shopper. I know. I used to do that years ago. Just make her move. Seriously, I'm just shopping. If you want her to move so badly, instead of giving her another minute or two, then you can politely ask her to let you have access to that display. Look, you're in uniform, you obviously work here, now do your job. Okay, you got me. I do work for corporate. I'm here to assess how badly the customers are treating the staff. We've had reports of customers being unreasonable, rude, verbally abusive, and in some cases, physically abusive towards the staff. I'm here to see if I can find these people so we can have them banned from our chain. Shopper left, staff finished stocking and thanked me. I finished my shopping and let hubby know I was ready to be picked up. Sorry, there is no major drama. Seriously though, a maxi sundress and a mask that just happened to match does not make a uniform. If it's your average run-of-the-mill PC grocery store, I'm not going to expect a maxi sundress to be a store employee uniform. Are mystery shoppers really that much of a thing that you would just spot them out in the wild like that? I don't think they would be a very good mystery shopper if they were kind of telling whoever to just continue their job. The next story is by PeggingMarauder. The old grab them by the arm so they answer trick might work favorably on some people, not me. I decided to brave the crowds, don my mask, and haul my hand sanitizer in with me to a store where home goods are available. I'm not rich enough to confidently buy towels online, and I am not confident enough in exchange policies to buy online. I know, going shopping for some towels now is dumb AF, but I went. I'm not comfortable with my family using the older and recently blood-stained set. On my way to the checkout, I stopped in a side aisle to look at a small table when another person entered the other side. I heard talking, but I didn't pay attention, just trying to find a price on an end table while trying to not cross-contaminate stuff by putting my wallet, phone, and towels down. I don't carry a purse for reasons. And then I felt my arm being tugged. I look up and this older woman had her hand on me and is asking me, "Do you carry towels here?" Don't freaking touch me. Get away, there's a pandemic. I said, "Do you carry towels?" I snapped, y'all. Do the workers here wear purple sweatpants? Do they wear band t-shirts? Do I look like I work here? It looked like when I aggressively stated my own appearance, she finally decided to look at me and apply critical thinking. She started power walking away, telling me that I didn't have to be so rude. I shouted after her to not touch any strangers. It was one of those moments that felt so surreal. I'm wearing purple sweatpants. How? And yes, Switch, if you see me holding towels, this place clearly has towels. Why couldn't you ask where the towels were? On retrospect, rephrasing the question and not touching me would have gotten a polite direction. I know there are ways to get my attention without roughly grabbing me. Oh, the bonus was that I made another mistake of stopping at an end cap because a pillow caught my attention. Two old women decided they liked it too, so much so one stood over my shoulder. She was wearing a mask, but at that point I was frustrated with the lack of regard for other people, turned to look her dead on and asked her if she needed me to move. She laughed and said, "Oh no, she just wanted to see the pillow," but made no move to step out of my space, so I told her, like a jerk, that she was standing too close. I was surprised and a little ashamed when she looked surprised and kept it moving with no argument. It wasn't a "I don't work here lady" moment, but it was a wonderful cherry on top of the crab sundae where I got to extend the bad vibes, and I'm definitely an a-hole for perpetuating it. Never ever move to a state known for its proliferation of geriatric residents. Don't do it. Honestly, we got like 2 mini stories in one, and here I am just wondering why the towels were recently blood-stained. There's a big just question mark left right at the very first paragraph. The next story is by TaniaHylian. Yes, I speak Spanish, but I'm a tourist just like you. So this happened a few years ago, long before this pandemic started. For context, I'm Mexican. I was fresh out of college and I decided I wanted to go on vacations to New York because I really wanted to see a Broadway musical. I convinced my mom to go with me because I didn't want to go alone and my friends don't have that kind of money. She didn't want to at first because she had some very bad opinions about Americans, which thankfully changed after our trip, and she also doesn't speak English very well. Thankfully for her, our second day in New York, we were looking for a place to have breakfast and entered a restaurant? I don't know if that's the name. They served pancakes, sandwiches, and cheesecakes, and had also some fruits and sodas to buy. Anyways, the place actually had only Mexican employees, so my mom didn't have to rely on me to order for her, which she appreciated. So from then on, we ate all our meals there. The place didn't have any waiters though, so you had to order and then go pick your food when they called for your turn, and bring it back to your table yourself. It was during our second day in New York that we ordered some sandwiches, and when our turn was called, my mom asked me to get our food. However, when I came back with it, she asked me if I could also bring her another bottle of water as she already finished hers. She gave me money and I went to buy her another bottle. I arrived to the fridge and was about to open it when someone said in Spanish, "Excuse me?" She had a weird accent that I had never heard before, so definitely not from Mexico. I quickly grabbed the bottle and turned to look at whoever had spoken, thinking they wanted to use the fridge. I was met with an old lady wearing a shirt and shorts, with sunglasses on and a camera hanging from her neck by a cord. Yep, Definitely a tourist like myself. "Are you going to use the fridge?" I asked, also in Spanish. "No, I wanted to know why our food hasn't arrived yet. We ordered almost half an hour ago." To her credit, she wasn't rude about it, mostly annoyed, which I understand. "Oh no, you have to go pick up the food yourself," I explained. "See the ticket they give you? It has a number, and when it matches the number in the sign above the counter, it means your food is ready." "But you brought food to that woman," she said confusedly, pointing to my mom. "Yeah, that's my mom. I don't work here." "But you're Mexican." She seemed to still be trying to make sense of the situation. She probably inferred I was Mexican because of my skin color and because I had the same accent as the employees. "Yes, but I'm a tourist, just like you," I kept trying to explain. "I live with 3 elderly people, so I know sometimes it takes them a while to understand something that goes against what they had at first believed to be the truth." Eventually, she seemed to process my words and apologized profusely before going to pick her food. She, her husband, and their grandson then went to sit next to my mom and I. This wasn't uncommon as the tables were rather large and the place was crowded. And we spent a good time talking about our experiences in New York as well as our own countries. Turns out they were from Colombia. Eventually, it was time for us to go to the musical, so we said goodbye to them and headed towards Broadway. That was the first and also the last time, to date at least, that I have been confused as an employee when I'm actually not. And I'm thankful it was a positive experience. It's kind of sad when you bring up the Spanish and the Mexican side of things, and you kind of just start gravitating towards, oh, this story's gonna be racist or something like that. But it actually ended up being a fairly positive experience, which I'm pretty relieved to read. And our final story of the day is by tinycaptainjames. A woman stalked me for salad bowls. I should preface this by saying I'm a classic metalhead. Tattoos, big boots, skull rings, denim vest with band patches, whole kit and caboodle. I was in a store where the uniforms are green, so I've no idea how I was mistaken for one of them, considering I look like someone's rolled some mashed potato in a pile of Iron Maiden albums. When I was browsing the dog treats, I felt this wizened old hand on my shoulder and I nearly pooped myself. Weird old lady is there, yellow teeth and strange smell, and she asks where the salad bowls are. Sorry?
Salad balls. Where are the salad balls?
Oh, I don't work here.
What? But the uniform.
I shrugged and walked away, wondering in what shop a huge back patch of Vikings stabbing each other was the uniform and how I could apply. I thought it was over, but this old lady then starts following me. She's always a few meters behind me every time I look around, and if I chat to my sister, she'll be making a loop around the aisle so she can walk past with extreme eye contact. I have no idea if she thought I was keeping the magical salad bowls in my pockets or what, but she was like a pruny shadow. She went as far as to follow me to the door and watch me leave. But man, that was one of the scariest things that's ever happened to me. This almost reads like it was going to turn into a horror story, like all of a sudden the store is empty, the front door is locked, and all you got is this creepy old lady that's always a few meters behind you just kind of following you around, not saying anything. You know what? That actually sounds pretty scary. I'm sorry if that spooks anybody. But with that being said, that's all the time we have for today. So if you enjoyed the stories today, please consider giving the video a like, and if you haven't, subscribe and turn notifications on so you'll never miss an upcoming video. And if you had a favorite story of the day, let me know which one and why in the comments down below. But no matter what you did, whether it was liking, commenting, subscribing, whatever you did, thank you all so very much for supporting me right here on the Storytime channel. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and as always, I'll be back tomorrow with more Reddit stories right here on the Storytime channel.